All right, let's talk about something that's on a lot of people's minds, a question that keeps students and parents up at night. Why in the world has college gotten so ridiculously expensive? Let's jump right in.
I mean, just let that sink in for a second. A summer job, lifeguarding, flipping burgers, could cover a whole year of college. That wasn't some fantasy, that was reality just one generation ago.
And you see, that reality totally changed what a degree meant. It was a stepping stone, a launch pad for your life. But today, for way too many people, it's a debt anchor, holding them down for years, sometimes decades, right when they should be taking off.
So, the big question is, how on earth did we get here? How did we go from that stepping stone to this massive, heavy anchor? How did the price of the same basic thing just skyrocket? Let's figure it out.
The reasons are kind of tangled, but don't worry, we can unravel them. We're going to use a simple model to make sense of it all.
Let's invent a university for our experiment. We'll call it WeeWee University. Yeah, WeeWee U is going to be our guide to see what's really changed over the years and why those tuition bills have gone clean through the roof.
Now here's the kicker. The core product at our WeeWee University, it hasn't changed. Back in 1975, you got classrooms, professors, and a degree. Today, you get classrooms, professors, and a degree. It's the same thing. So if the product is the same, why is the price so wildly different?
Okay, let's pop the hood on what we'll call the price hike engine. The very first gear we're going to look at is something called administrative bloat.
Just look at this. Back in 1975, most of the money went exactly where you'd think it should, to teaching, to instruction. Administration was just a tiny little slice of the pie. Now, fast forward to today. Spending on actual teaching has pretty much stayed flat. But that administration bar, it has absolutely exploded.
So think about what that means. All this extra money pouring into universities, it didn't go to hiring more professors or making classes smaller. Nope. It was basically diverted, swallowed up by this ever-growing army of administrators and overhead costs.
So that leads to a pretty obvious question, right? If universities are spending all this extra cash, where'd they get it? And that brings us to the second, really powerful gear in this engine, easy student loans.
It's the question we all should be asking. If our WeeWee University started spending so much more, where did all that cash come from? Well, the answer lies in how we all started paying for college in the first place.
This is where things get really wild. It created this vicious cycle. It all starts with the government wanting to help, making student loans super easy to get. Suddenly, there's all this cash flooding the market. So what do the universities do? They see that students can now technically afford more, so they raise tuition to capture all that new money. And of course, that forces students to borrow even more just to keep up. And the cycle just keeps spinning higher and higher.
So you put those two things together, this massive shift in spending to administration, fueled by an endless flow of easy loan money. And now it's time for the verdict.
So, after decades of these two forces just cranking away together, what's the final damage? What's the total increase in the price of a degree been? 500%. No, that's not a typo. 500%. The cost for the exact same education went up by 500%. It's just staggering when you think about it. That's what happens when this price hike engine is left to run wild. And that, right there, that's how a stepping stone becomes a life-altering debt anchor. A 500% price increase is what turns a degree into a financial burden that can take decades for people to escape.
So, we'll leave you with this. We know the basic education you get is pretty much the same as it was when you could pay for it with a simple summer job. The real question is, what are we all actually paying for with that extra 500%?